Yesterday, in the Vatican, the first consistory of the pontificate of Pope Leo XIV was held. A solemn event, between expected canonizations, names that remain, and voices that disturb. Behind the incense and the smiles, the true direction of the Church in the coming years is being played out. Stay with us until the end. We will tell you everything that others will not tell you. On June 13, 2025, Pope Leo XIV celebrated his first ordinary public consistory. The official occasion was one of those solemn and apparently incontestable ones, the proclamation of the canonizations of blesseds, such as Pier Giorgio Frassati and Carlo Acutis. The Vatican media spoke enthusiastically about it, presenting the event as a sign of continuity in holiness, almost a natural continuation of the previous pontificate. But those who look deeper know well that every liturgical gesture in the Vatican has a political and doctrinal weight. A consistory, especially the first, is the moment in which a pope declares to the world what his priorities will be. It is a public, visible act where precise signals are expected. New appointments, doctrinal changes, paradigm shifts. At the heart of the ecclesial debate, the position of Cardinal Victor Manuel Fernandez has become the theological barometer of the nascent pontificate. Appointed by Pope Francis to head the dicastery for the doctrine of the faith, Fernandez, nicknamed Tuco, is a controversial figure, author of ambiguous texts, promoter of a pastoral vision that many Orthodox theologians judge to be dangerously relativist. According to some sources, Pope Leo XIV has already confirmed Fernandez in his position. Gloria TV talks about it as a decision already made, while Religion Digital interprets the reconfirmation as a tactical move, a defensive dig to gain time and consolidate the axis with the Bergoglian legacy. But from the Vatican, no official word. This uncertainty is not neutral. Confirming Fernandez means shielding the progressive doctrinal system that has characterized the last decade. Openness to ambiguous blessings, weakening of the role of the magisterium, confusion about non-negotiable principles. On the contrary, removing it or moving it elsewhere would mean sending an unequivocal message. The doctrine of the faith must return to being a beacon of truth, not a public relations office of fluid pastoral care. Fernandez is not just a prefect. He is the living symbol of a theological approach that many consider the most advanced point of the modernist drift. And his permanence, silently or otherwise, risks being read as the new pope's first major surrender to pressure from progressive circles. In the panorama of the first weeks of his pontificate, Pope Leo XIV has demonstrated a profound and symbolically powerful bond with Latin America, particularly with Peru. It is not just a question of personal affections. A real cultural imprint is emerging that is destined to shape the new Roman Curia. On May 13, 2025, a few days after the election, a detail that had gone almost unnoticed revealed a lot. During the installation ceremony in the Cathedral of St. John Lateran, Father Bernardito Gil sat next to the new pontiff in the Pope-mobile. Gil is Vicar General of the Diocese of Chiclayo, former diocese of Cardinal Robert Francis Prevost, now Leo XIV, a gesture that speaks of emotional continuity, but also of future intentions. The Pope's personal secretary, Father Egdard Rimaicuna, also comes from Chiclayo. Even the new personal chef is Peruvian. And in his first Urbi et Orbi blessing, Leo XIV chose to speak in Spanish, not in the language of his country of origin, English. A clear signal. The spiritual identity of this pontificate could speak with an Andean accent. But this ecclesial Latinity is not folklore. It is the preparation of a culturally compact, geopolitically oriented, and, it is feared, ideologically aligned ecclesial government team. The question that arises spontaneously is, what vision of the Church will this new leadership group serve? If on the outside, Pope Leo XIV appears reserved and cautious, behind the Vatican walls, the pressure is palpable. The Curia is not a static organism. It is a field of forces, factions, and intersecting interests. And within this field, some names have now become knots to be untied. Cardinal Pietro Parolin, Secretary of State, seems destined to maintain his role. An expert figure, a skilled tightrope walker between diplomacy and doctrine. Parolin has remained, so far, immovable under 3 pontificates. But its real influence is in decline, worn down by years of ambiguity on China and by a management of international relations increasingly contested even from within the Leonine walls. At his side, Monsignor Paul Gallagher, responsible for relations with states, is also confirmed, but the real point of tension is Monsignor Edgar Peña Parra, substitute for General Affairs of the Secretariat of State. A man who grew up under Francis, a representative of that Bergoglian line that promoted doctrinal openness and strategic ambiguity, Peña Parra does not appear to be in tune with the Augustinian prudence of Leo XIV. According to sources close to Vatican diplomacy, his place could be entrusted to a figure more akin to the new Pope. The name that is circulating insistently is that of Monsignor Petar Rajic, Apostolic Nuncio to Italy, a Canadian of Croatian origin, with a more institutional and less ideological profile. It is not just a matter of moving pawns, but of rebuilding a Secretariat of State, faithful to the pontiff and not to the previous pontificate. At stake is not only administrative efficiency, but the political and doctrinal direction of the universal church in the coming decades. The time for symbols is running out. After weeks of cautious gestures, cultural tributes, and calculated silences, Pope Leo XIV will have to choose: to continue the line of pastoral ambiguity or finally undertake a path of restoration of Catholic truth. The issue is not personal nor political, it is ecclesial. The names that will be chosen or confirmed will speak more than speeches, more than blessings, and even more than silences. They will be the ones to say whether the Church will return to being a beacon of doctrine or a laboratory of compromises. Tradition waits, wounded but alert. And if Leo XIV really wants to mark a turning point, he will have to do it with men, not with words. What do you think? If you liked the video, comment, Amen. God bless you.